Good morning. The Hangout on Air is live. Welcome. Stretch those muscles. Let's get going. Let's get ready to rock. We're waiting for Mike Milan to join us. I know he's around. He was tweeting with me this morning. I'm just going to check my email real quick here to see if he's having trouble getting in for some reason. Meanwhile, we're gonna do this hangout this week in whispers. We're gonna whisper the whole hangout.
It's all super double secret.
Double secret.
Everybody be very quiet, okay? Don't say a word.
Super double secret.
Oh gosh.
We've been trying to talk him out of it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You better get in quick.
I know. Mike.
Hello.
Hi,
Good morning,
Gina.
Gina. No Mickey Mouse this week.
It was
It was easy this week to get in.
hard for me.
That's what she said.
Oh.
I didn't whisper that, did I?
It's Friday.
It's Friday.
Well, that's the excuse that we'll use. That's what we'll do.
See,
It's Friday.
Huh.
man.
I can't find Mike.
Is he lost? Is he lost on the interwebs?
He was tweeting to me this morning. He said he was going to tease us. I said, don't tease me.
About teasing me.
Maybe this is a tease.
This is the tease. Well,
We having a hangout around?
So, all right. So I'm on Facebook Messenger to see if I can ping him there. Maybe we'll get Mike Michalowicz instead of Mike Milan. Wait.
Some mic. You get some kind of mic.
Let's see. I'm going to give him the link. Oop, phone call.
Sorry.
sorry.
No problem. Let me know if you want me to get it. All right, I'm going to go into... The other problem I'm experiencing now is I have like 6 different Chrome sessions open.
Did you notice the new disclaimer when we came on this morning?
I did not. What did it say?
No, what?
I can't recite this by memory now, but it was.
Well, give us
I
a rough
didn't
idea.
read that stuff.
Do you realize that this will be broadcast and people publicly and people you don't know will be watching this? I mean, that's like the
People
first
I don't know. Oh gosh.
I'm sure somebody complained, or who knows, there might have even been a lawsuit somewhere. People will sue for anything these days.
Next thing you know is that I'm gonna get told that the coffee I buy at McDonald's is hot or something.
Yeah, exactly. I was just funny because I was just going to bring that one up.
I mean, see, I almost just swore, but I did not. Caught myself.
So, meanwhile, while we're waiting for Mike to get in, couple things happening in the world of small business accounting technology. I guess that's kind of our world. That sums it up pretty well, don't you think?
I would say yes.
Yeah.
Small business accounting technology. Let me share my screen, because you know what they say, sharing is caring, or something like that. So, first of all, because I often forget to do this, I have to give props to Team SOB. We have Carrie Kahn, who has taken over for Katie Peterson on Mondays. We have Mariette Martinez on Tuesdays, Jay Kimmelman on Wednesdays, Talking Zero. Thursdays is Billy Ann Grigg, and Fridays, later today, will be Joanne Del Balso. So they host the chat in the ABO group on Facebook every single day, Monday through Friday. You know, it was officially 12 p.m., but from what I've seen, it looks as though they just kind of start it whenever they start it during the day. But you'll see a thread with a tag, with a hashtag, so that you'll kind of know that it's their chat for the week. And they'll cover different topics, and you can, I mean, just as we do 24/7 anyway in ABO, but they'll have a focused topic where you can ask them questions and they'll answer. Somebody's echoing. Echo.
I mean,
Who's new? Melissa, is that you?
Who's new? Melissa's new.
So Team SOB. Always have to give props and thank them for all of their help and time.
It is 20.
They've got like a lot going on at their office today. All right, I'm going to send Mike another invite. And then we'll move on to some more announcements.
Hope he's okay.
I'll jump off. I have.
No, you don't have to jump off. It's not
No,
a question
don't
of
jump off.
space. It's a question of him clicking in.
Okay.
Okay.
Nobody needs to jump off yet. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh.
Oh, I have to leave in a couple minutes anyway because I got to go do I have an academy session, so I can bug out.
Okay. Well,
You can be
before
the
you
place
do,
for a second.
before you do,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to make the announcement here that some of you might have seen that Stacy and I are starting the Apposaurus Rex, where we're going to be reviewing
I love that
apps once a week.
name.
Isn't that a great name?
Is this with the first app?
The first app is going to be Google Keep.
Google Keep. Yes.
Okay. Got it.
It's
So
what?
if you go onto Facebook and you search for Apposaurus Rex, you'll find the page that we started, and we're posting announcements there. And then
But it's the Facebook page is the Apposaurus Rex. So if you go to facebook.com, the Apposaurus Rex.
But if you just do a search, it'll come up.
Yeah, it will.
So join us there because we'll post announcements. We're charging like $10 for the webinar just to make sure that when people say they're going to show up, they show up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, we're losing all kinds of people.
Fine.
Oh,
There he is.
hey,
Now
Mike.
Mike Milan joined.
Yay!
Yay!
Mike!
So if you search there,
The
here's the thing.
ceiling.
So we're going to charge $10 for the webinar just to make sure that people who say they're going to show up are actually committed to doing so. The other thing we're going to do is offer options where you can pay like $30 a month and just get into all of them, or $300 a year. And for either of those two memberships, you'll have access to a forum where Stacy and I and those who join will have access to ongoing conversations about these apps. And as Stacy and I are reviewing them during the week preceding the show, you'll be able to see and participate in those conversations. So it'll be lots of fun.
Yeah. So and every month we're going to pick a different category. So like a CRM or project management or to-do or whatever it is, and then each week we will do a different app in that category. So that's kind of the plan. So it should be fun.
Are they going to be recorded and available to watch later if you have
Yes, so for those who join, they'll be recorded and you'll be able to access the recordings right in the forum. We've actually already set up the forum. So if you go to the Facebook page, all the announcements will get posted there, so you'll have all the information you need. People are already starting to suggest applications, so I put up a form this morning where you can actually go suggest an application.
Yep.
You'll be proud of me. I used Google Forms for that instead of Smartsheet.
Yay. Yeah, I think it'd be really fun. And then we have a list of 5 different criteria that we're going to rate each app on, and if we like it, they get a little T-Rex, and if we don't like it, they get a meteor. Which my 13-year-old daughter came up with that rating system.
Yes, she did.
That is awesome.
Yep. So that's the deal. That's what we're going to do, and I think it's going to be so freaking fun. I can't wait. And
if you ever want to make something fun, just get kids' input on it.
Yep.
Because that was classic when
So.
Kira said, yeah, I wanted to do like a Star Wars theme, and the same 12-year-old daughter warned us about copyright infringement.
She's like, isn't it copyrighted? Don't you have to worry about copyright laws? And I was like, oh, thank you, 13-year-old. I really appreciate that. Like, no wonder you're 4 point. I appreciate it. Thank you. So, yeah, that was great. Okay, well, I'm going to jump off because I have to get ready for Academy. I just wanted to tell you guys all hi. I haven't seen you all in so long. And I'll talk to you, I'm sure, later, Seth, about stuff. Maybe.
Cool.
I'm supposed to be going to the pool later today, so whatever. I'll talk to you. Bye, you guys.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right.
Seth, say the name of the Facebook page again.
Apposaurus Rex. You know what? I'll bring it up on screen.
I just found it. Yeah.
You founded it?
This doesn't say the Apposaurus. This says Apposaurus.
Well, the name on the page says Apposaurus, but the actual URL
Oh.
is Apposaurus Rex. Is
Oh,
that
I see
Peter
it.
Cullen? That is Peter Cullen. Good morning, Peter.
Good morning. How's everybody?
We
Hi,
are.
how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for joining us.
It's hotter than heck in Southern California.
We have Mike Milan. First of all, say hello. You've been quiet over there, and apparently you draw quite the crowd. We have some very special people here with us this morning, and I'm sure it's all for you.
You know what? It's hot, buddy. You draw a crowd.
No, it's not me. People are tired of me. I'm just an idiot with a webcam and a microphone. Everybody's tired of me.
Oh, yeah. Hey, I tell you what, I'm in San Diego at CloudFest, and
how's that going down there? I mean, you're in Paradise, California, right?
Yeah, Mission Bay, Paradise Point. It's fantastic. I don't know if you've never been here. I mean, everything you would like. Sun, beach, paddleboards. It's just beautiful.
It actually is like paradise there. I remember going there a few years ago for Cloud Summit, and it's amazing.
Try living there for 30 years. It was the best.
Yep. So, all right. So you know what? Let's just dig in to this week's topic. I'm not sure who's echoing, so I'm going to mute you guys. Don't take it personally. All right, sounds like that might have been Peter. Sorry, Peter, but if you want to say something, please feel free to unmute and chime in. And if you have a headset, that should solve the problem, if you can plug in a headset. So, Mike, we're not talking about Finagraph. We're not allowed to mention Finagraph this week. We're talking about something else.
Okay.
You want to tell us what that something else is, why we're here?
Well, I mean, of course, I love to talk about Finagraph. Don't get me wrong.
And you know I'm kidding, of course.
But at the same time, we have a deep passion helping.
Hold on, we'll take care of the background noise. Folks, do me a favor. When you join in, make sure you mute yourselves, because if there's background noise, it can be distracting. Nothing personal. But again, feel free to unmute if you want to say something or ask a question. Sorry, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, perfect. Hey, I think you said it perfectly earlier. It's we're saving the world one small business at a time. And basically what I'm excited to tease, what I'm excited to tease is we're coming out with a whole suite of free products for business owners that you guys can give away, and we're going to roll out in the next 6 weeks with one on valuation. And if you know anything about Finagraph and what we've done over the last 2 years, we don't stop at just the analysis. It doesn't. What we do is we take it to the next step and says, here's how you fix, here's how you improve, here's how you make more money. So, that first free program we're rolling out is a valuation. It's going to tell you how much your company's worth, where you fall. You're in the bottom quartile, maybe you're in the top. But it's going to be about where you're at in your industry as far as value goes. And then we're going to tell you how to make it better, right? Because what we do in our business owner seminars and what we do in the product is we improve value. All is transferable value. And transferable value to me is, do I have enough money that I want to do when I exit the company? And that can be different for yourself than me. I mean, I might be content, sitting on the deck watching the sun come up and down, but you might want to travel the world, buddy.
Well, and it's it's the topic of valuation itself, I think, is an interesting one, because somebody actually posted in our Abo group this week asking a question about how to value the business. I should have actually tagged you there, Mike, because I'm sure you would have had some valuable input. But I did a series on business valuation based on the show The Shark Tank last year, and it's still one of our more popular videos that people come and watch, or video series, I should say. But that sort of mini course that we did approaches valuation from the standpoint of wanting to make it look attractive to the investors. So the whole thing is, going out there and saying, forget about the hype. A lot of times we want to value businesses based on the hype because we think that's the way to sell the investors on buying or investing into the business. And I said, no, look at how you're valuing the business based on what amount of money you're asking for in exchange for what percentage of the business, and grossing that up to see what that valuation actually looks like. Then look at your projected cumulative net income to see what kind of ROI that is expected to bring to the investor, and does that look exciting? Is that going to get the investor excited about that ROI? And if not, then maybe you need to drop down that valuation to make it look more attractive to the investor. That's one way of valuing a business. Other ways are multiples of revenue. Another way, and as an accountant, when a company comes in my door for the accounting consultation and they say, hey, I want to flip this business, then immediately my whole strategy for them surrounds the equity section of the balance sheet and wanting to blow that up as much as possible, which means you're not taking any distributions, you're reinvesting every dime available back into the business, and you'll take salaries and live off of that so that at least you get the expense deduction on the P&L for that line item. But so the whole strategy becomes around the equity. Mike, I'm going to turn it over to you. So what's your, I know you spend a lot of time. You're about to launch a product on valuation. What's the focus? How do we value businesses from your perspective?
There are 12 different ways, and you hit several of them right on. From my perspective, and I'm not going to say I'm the business valuation expert, but I've been through this process 5 times. All right, I bought 2 companies, sold 3. So I think I've been through the process. And if you're in that many transactions, you're in 100 other due diligence processes to get to that point. And what it comes down to me and the people that I know that are buying businesses, it's about risk. How much risk, is your company? Right, and when you talked about multiples, there's a lot of people maybe on this call that don't understand how people derive the multiple. They just say, oh, well, the industry gives me 6x, or the industry gives me 3x. Well, what really does that mean? And if you look at ROI, or return on investment, when you look at the industry averages, right, may say, my industry, the ROI for this type of company is, we'll say, 16%. Well, do you know what multiple that is? That's how you derive it. 16% is a 6x multiple. And what you do is you take the higher risk, the lower the multiple. So if I want a 50% return, a 50% return on investment, I'm going to divide that by 100, and that's a 2x multiple, right? If I want a 25% return, I divide that by 100, and that's a 4x multiple. A lot of people know how they're derived, but it is about risk and how much return I want. And the higher the risk, the lower the multiple, the higher the return. Does that make sense?
Yep, that's your classic risk-reward ratio, right? If I think of the stock market, because the stock market is a classic example of this. If I invest in equity securities, which is common stock in a company, that's considered fairly risky compared to other investment types. So I expect a better return, but it's greater risk, greater reward. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's basically what you're doing. But the valuation of the financials is only part of it. It's going to get you in the ballpark, right? But when people look at your business, they're looking at all the other things in corporate. You may be the most important player in your business. And if you can't walk away and that business run by itself, then that business is worth less. Believe it or not, it's worth less money. So right. People want to be able to fall in on a process. They believe that they can do what you do. And if you built in every single decision runs through you, and you're the one that works in your business and not necessarily on your business every day, then all of a sudden your business doesn't look as attractive to one that can be plug and play.
Right. So Mariette is asking, what does the multiple mean? So Mariette, what the multiple is if I say I want $100,000 in exchange for 25% of my company, then I have to multiply that $100,000 by 4 to gross it up to what 100% of that company means. So $25,000 rather, for $100,000 translates to $400,000. It's a 4 times multiple of 25%, like Mike said. Mike, you want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one way. I mean, if you've got 25% of a company for $100,000, it's a $400,000 company. The other way to look at it is if I give you $1,000, how much do I expect back? I want the $100,000 plus, right? I mean, I want to make money on my money. So when I'm telling you I'm going to give you 2x multiple, that means I want 50 more. So I want $150,000 back on the $100,000 I gave.
Right. So when you're looking at it from an ROI standpoint, the multiple is what's your return going to be? If I invest 100,000, I want 200,000 back. That's a 2 times multiple.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about multiples. There are some valuations that will do multiple revenue. All right, so they're going to pay you a multiple of a revenue, which is, if you have $1 million company and I give you 2x, your company is now worth $2 million. Or the other way is the multiple of earnings, and that's kind of what we're at is. Does the company return to me in the owner's or holder's pocket? And that's the ROI. It returns 16% of all the dollars that was put in equity. So when you're looking at the balance sheet, you're looking at stockholders' equity or shareholders' equity, how more generating in retained earnings each year. And that would be your returns. Much like the stock market, much like your bank account, generating interest.
Right. So, and if I'm investing in a company and the plan is to be invested in it permanently, then obviously as time goes on, that multiple just keeps going up, right? Because I invest my money, and hopefully I never have to put more money in. Hopefully after that I start taking my share out. And it could be, now, then there's also the royalty type deals, right? Like I love Mr. Wonderful on the Shark Tank. He's always trying to do royalty deals. Right? He's always trying to say, you know what, forget about, I don't want a percentage, I want $1 off of every sale that you make for the next 3 years or something like that. And of course, those always seem to be horrible for the company owner. Great for him, but really because it sucks up their cash flow.
Well, yeah, and not only that, it raises cost immediately. He's taking it right off the top, so they automatically have to build the cost of it. So, and the higher they make the cost of the product, if he's on a percentage basis, the more he makes. So he puts them in kind of a circular catch-22. If you raise the price of the product, I get a higher royalty. And personally, I take that deal. I would make him invest in life, the sustainment of the company, rather than just give him off the top.
Right. So tell us about this product you're launching. So it's going to help us come up with the valuation. I don't know if you can demonstrate it or if you can just describe it. I mean, am I keying in information from my balance sheet and P&L and being told what the valuation, or how does it work?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you, we're selecting the designer right now. We've got the workflow done, and I can actually, if you share the thing, I can show you the contest designs.
So just move your mouse over the left hand of your screen, and you'll see the sharing option. It's a little green monitor with a curvy right pointing arrow.
Okay.
And you'll see screen share.
And share. Okay, can you see the? Can you see my?
Right now, it still looks black to me.
Okay.
I just see a black screen.
Let's see here.
When you click it, it should ask you what you want to share. It'll give you a choice of like a screen or an application. There we go. Now I see it. I see business valuation tool, and I saw my ugly mug there for a minute.
Okay.
99 designs.
Well, all right. Yeah. No, the only reason I'm showing this is that we develop the workflow. I mean, anytime you're developing a software product, I mean, it goes through, the idea phase, and then you go into how does it work, and you got to think of every little thing. How does it interact to it, with it? What do you want them to enter? And our has always been a hallmark of simplicity. So let me just pull up one of the designs here just to kind of show you. And we haven't selected one yet. That's today's task. But it's going to be something like this. If you can see it, it's we're rolling out. We're calling it opinion. Have you ever heard of Zestimate? So we're calling it a fin opinion. Or it's our algorithm that was developed by some University of Washington, mathematical statistical professors, and we're real confident in what's happening, and it's getting a lot of play by companies like Moody's and Experian that like what's happening in their algorithm, because it takes two things: it's the static financials, but also what's happening in the really determine what happened in every industry's market. So it's really flexible and really dynamic. So it's going to be able to start. You get your current value. We're going to teach you how to improve it or tell you what to do next to make it better, and then also do these little sliders to play with different scenarios. So what if I increase gross margin by 2%? What if I reduce inventory by whatever amount? What does that do to my value? So that's the simplicity. It's information or connect to your accounting system and just press a button and get a value. We're going to tell you by analysis where to go to improve it and how to improve it, and then let you play with some scenarios and set a goal. So this is kind of what the overall web page is going to look like. And realize it's a free product. So but what we're going to do is down to offer a full valuation that can be used in court and things like that. It's a 15-page report. We're not really pushing that. We want people to use the valuation tool and get more exposure. But to get started, you just push in, 4 pieces of information: your name, where you're located, your revenue, and then what industry. And then what we do after that is take you through. Oh, go ahead. That maybe somebody was there.
I am muted and it echoed.
Okay. So anyway, that's what the web page was going to look like, and then a simple design of what happens next is we give you a valuation, show you where you're at, and then give you the action plan. These are the things you need to do next to improve. Down in the gray spot here will be the sliders, do what if scenarios. But again, real clean, real simple, real easy. One click of a button gets you all the information. So I'm super excited because this is the first of about 10 different products we're free for business owners that you guys can distribute and do whatever. With cash flow, we're going to come up with a line of credit calculator that actually looks at what you're doing. You put in your growth goal, and it tells you how much working capital you're going to need. Forecast tool, all of them is based on the same principles that we're to not only analyze, guide, and improve. So,
what if my focus?
That was a lot. I'll let you.
What if I wanted my focus to be on avoiding having to take on debt? What if I wanted to try my best to be self-financed, meaning I wanted to put in a plan of action that included, let's say, 20%, if I can afford it, of every $1 gross goes into some kind of a fund so that I don't have to ever borrow money if I can avoid it and incur the cost of borrowing, right? Is that something you ever think about or talk about with businesses, or do you really feel like, at a certain point you just need to have the financing there and lined up so that you can take advantage of the opportunities as they come up?
No, interesting, because I do about 40 businesses a year and work. I've already worked with about 150 businesses, and I got about 300 to go over the fall. And that's the main question that comes up. Hey, I want to grow, but I don't want to take on new debt. All right, so what we have is what's called a sustainable growth formula, right? And we Google that. I can give you the formula yourself. But what it's designed to do is saying, how much can I grow without deteriorating my balance sheet or taking on debt or having to buy a lot of other items or capital? So it's called a sustainable growth. Ways you can do it with, I want to take on an acceptable amount of debt that doesn't deteriorate the balance sheet, or I want zero debt. And there's 2 different formulas, and again, I'm willing to share those formulas with anybody. They're really simple, but in the next free products that are coming out, that sustainable growth rate is going to be one of the things that we build in that you can just connect to your accounting system, and it will tell you how much you can grow without taking on debt.
I have a question. I've got kind of a bad connection. Did you say you were not charging for these products?
I'm going to charge for that. Yeah, I mean, we're going to make money. If you saw, we full valuation down at the bottom. Somebody needs that for, some type of actual proof of valuation. Sometimes people need it in court proceedings. Sometimes they need it as due. But all the free products are designed to interact and help and give you more tools. Now, because they're going out to individual business owners, I'm going to be transparent. You're going to be able to see them collectively if you have a Finagraph subscription. They're going to populate. They're going to populate inside your Finagraph subscription.
Well, that was my other question. Are you using this as kind of a way? But it will help you. Are you using this as a way to differentiate Finagraph from, say, other similar products in the marketplace? I mean, it seems to me the differentiating would be one, the focus on getting financing, and secondly, maybe the being able to tie this in with business valuations. Is that kind of the strategy?
Yeah, I mean it's a differentiation strategy, right? And not only that, we a lot of I don't want to say pressure, but a lot of interest by some of our larger partners like Experian that want more adoption of this type of product in the marketplace by small business owners. Some of the feedback from from accountants and bookkeepers is, it's hard to get small business owner to adopt it. So we're going to have our larger partners help distribute these free products to get them more comfortable with using a free analysis tool or using a tool that you guys can walk through with.
Excellent. And so, Mike, it sounds like you have, I don't know if this is part of what you do at Finagraph, but it sounds like you have a consulting arrangement where you work with companies on the valuation. Is that something done through Finagraph, or how is that? Like, how do I hire you if I wanted your help with my valuation?
It is actually done through Finagraph. We have an education training division, and in the past, this is the first time we've opened it up to CPAs, but it's always been. And again, I think I've always told you, Seth, that we started out in the bank world. I teach at Louisiana State University. I teach bankers how to deal with small business owners. So it's banks that bring us in because they get Community Reinvestment Act credit, right? So they hire us in. They'll fill the room with 30 to 50 business owners, and we'll do 2-day seminars on how to make more money with your financial statements, right? How to look at them, how to interpret them. I mean, I think earlier I said we spend so much time in our businesses. We're great at what we do, but we don't take the time to step back and work on our business. How does the whole collective work together? So the whole focus of that seminar is to work on our business and be able to come up with a few things right out of the financial statements that I can put to work immediately. On our web, if you add the word seminars, and maybe I'll share again and show you that.
Sure.
Let me get the web page up. But we have opened up sponsorships to CPAs, and we can take on like a CPA in a bank and then a lawyer, or we've got some of our accounting partners, and Intuit's getting ready to sponsor some of these seminars. So what we do is we split the sponsorship up. We fill the room with people. I mean, it's a totally easy. You pay us, we promote it, we fill the room, we get the right there for you, and then you come in and swoop up and grab up the business. And I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you our page, and it's finagraph.com/seminar. Let me go back real quick. And share the screen. Share. Okay. If you go to finagraph.com/seminar, you'll see where our locations are. We got several of them that are coming up right now. Irvine, Los Angeles, Chico, Grass Valley, Redding. And if you click on any of those, it's going to tell you the agenda, how to register. I mean, where are you located? Which one would be close to you, Seth? Irvine or Los Angeles?
Los Angeles. So yeah, I want to go to the next seminar. I want to learn how to value my business and take on debt responsibly.
Got it. Well, I mean, this one's sponsored by City National Bank. I think you're probably familiar with them, the bank of the stars in your area.
I sure am. Yeah. So a question, by the way, while we're talking about this, and Mariette's asking this in the group, so when I'm using your valuation tools, and if I determine that debt is going to be needed in order to sufficiently fund the growth of my business, do you guys partner with the bank and lender? Like, do I go through you and say, okay, I used your tool, it tells me I'm going to need a $100,000 line of credit near term, do you link me up with the banks, or do I have to go somewhere else for that? How does that part work?
Okay, again, right? That's another way we're going to finance our free products.
Right.
Is that our banking partners will be able to look at it and pre-screen a deal, right? Is basically what they're doing. They can see the company, they can see what the financials are, and then if you meet their lending criteria, we're going to make you an offer off to the side, very subtly, saying, hey, if you need funding or if you're looking at this type of business, click here for more information because here's some funding options for our partners.
Right.
Our API is used by large alternative lenders as well, like Dealstruck down here in San Diego. Fundbox, you might know them. So I mean, they use our gathering tool in the back application in order to make these credit decisions. So we're able to really quickly sync our valuation tool with their decision-making matrix and be able to offer funding options back to the business owner.
It would be a great partner for you guys as Fundera. If you got, I don't know if you know that company. I had Meredith Wood from Fundera on here not long ago. That would be a great partnership right there.
Yeah, you know what? Fundera is a great company. We just did I just sent them a PowerPoint mock-up of what it looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Meaning our product look in their application. You know, the big thing about the funding is they don't like to deviate from what it looks like. Every time there's a click, there's an opportunity to abandon the application. So you got to be really cognizant about being simple inside their application. Great referral source. I mean, if you know somebody there, give them a nudge.
No, I definitely will. I would love to see that whole partnership happen. And then the other thing I'm thinking is, not long ago we had LivePlan on. So when I'm doing my business plan, this kind of feeds right into that, in that I want to look at the valuation as I'm doing my business plan, and if, you know, I could see where a lot of these products can start really coming together to create a really powerful ecosystem for small business. And with that, you know what, we probably should talk a little bit about Finagraph, because this makes sense, right? A lot of the data that Finagraph helps us compile and analyze and understand is going to go into this kind of valuation. Am I wrong?
No, absolutely. I mean, you know, when you start the improvement process, I mean, it's about understanding those financial statements, right? And I can share. I don't know. I think when you did the courses, did we have headlines in yet?
It doesn't sound familiar, so I'm going to guess no. Either that, or I, you know, made a mistake and missed it.
Well, let me go back again and share the screen and show you what headlines looks like. All right, so screen. This is Finagraph, and over the last couple of months, we've added this feature up at the top in the big green and orange boxes, and we call the feature headline, and it's built to talk to you and your business owner exactly like they kind of read the news, right? We've kind of been conditioned to look at it, and if we want to know more, we click on it, we can read down into the article. But what we were hearing is that, well, Finagraph is a wall of numbers. Yeah, you can click, yeah, you can hover and get more information, but we need it even more simple than that. So we came up with this feature called Headline, and if you look at it, it's the first thing you see when you pop open, you know, Finagraph. And we're going to tell you something that's pretty interesting about the analysis we conducted. In this case, this company is heavily invested in inventory, and you're like, oh, what about heavily invested? If you click on Learn More, we're going to tell you what we mean by that. And if you notice anything about Finagraph, it's written in business owner language, not necessarily technical, you know, professional professor language. You know, so and then we're going to give you consider things that you can do. Is your inventory obsolete? You should be writing it off. You know, I mean, can you order and not carry so much inventory? So we're going to compare you to your industry or whatever goal you set, and tell you what that is. Now, if I say
I was going to ask that. So if I'm using benchmarks instead of NAICS codes, how would that change what those headlines look like?
It's going to change. It could be a different headline, right? Because you may say, I'm always better than the industry average, and we may give you, on the industry, we'll give you a green better than your competitors, but if you put it in your own mark and hitting your goals, it's going to give you a, hey, you need an improvement. Watch out for this. You're not at your goal. So it'll give you a different headline based on that analysis. You know, and when we show you, I can go to show me, and it takes me down to the page to inventory days, and we're saying, oh, 200 days of inventory, everyone else has 62, or maybe your goal is 62, and if you could reduce it that far, you'd have $157,000 more back in the cash flow. So those are some of the ways that we can do that. Now, what I can do is show you how it will change. Let me put,
so, Mike, if you don't mind, I want to stop you right on that point just for a second. I want to stop you there for a second, because I want to highlight, can you repeat what you just said, first of all, about that metric? Just
the way you would read this is, you would have $157,000 more cash.
Okay, so you know we have a lot of talk going on about the firm of the future and what that looks like and what a bookkeeping practice might look like, and of course there's a lot of inertia, a lot of resistance on the part of people who just don't want the change. They want to do what they're comfortable and accustomed to doing. But that right there, I think perfectly highlights the kind of stuff that we need to start thinking about doing for our clients in the accounting and bookkeeping profession. Too many of us are still too transactional with what we do and not enough analytical. And right there, what Mike just pointed out is a perfect example of the kind of information that if you went to your client with and told them you could have an extra $150,000 cash in your bank, that piece of information right there probably pays for your fees for an entire year a few times over. So that's why I wanted to stop you on that point, Mike.
Yeah, great point. I mean, that's exactly where we're going to with this. And so, nothing gets a business owner's attention more than saying, "Hey, I can find you money."
Right. All of a sudden, the business owner doesn't mind paying you $20,000 a year if you're an outsourced part-time bookkeeping service, when you just found them $150,000.
Yeah, exactly. And I tell you what, when I was doing consulting in between selling my company in 2011 and getting into Finagraph in 2012, 2013, what was my pitch, right? I would go in and ask the business owner, I'd say, "Hey, listen, have you got $20 on you?" And he would give me a $20 bill, and I would hand him back 100, right? I would hand him back 100. I said, "That's what I do. I can see more."
Yeah, no, I love that. It's funny because I recently, one of the companies that I've been working with on, a one-on-one training basis is a company in the construction industry, and we were looking at their retention, and there was a lot of retention that they had not collected that was due to be collected. And so I within 1 hour session, I found her $10,000 that she could go collect, and she did. She went in the next week and collected it, and made her boss very happy. So of course, when she came back and told me, "Hey, by the way, I want to thank you. You just helped me. My boss is very happy with me. We brought in an extra $10,000 this week," and I immediately said, "So you ready to sign up for more sessions?"
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like an ATM, right?
Exactly. But this is the kind of information. So, and by the way, folks, if you're watching and you're wondering about the Finagraph course we have on School of Bookkeeping, it's available to the public. So don't be stupid. Take advantage of it. It's free for now, at least, and learn this product so you can learn to use it for your clients, so you can learn how you can give your clients that kind of information. And by the way, Mariette commented that her clients are going to love the pretty colors on those headlines. So is that feature something people have to opt in for, or it's just going to show up now?
No, it just shows up. So if you start your free trial today, or maybe just open a subscription, it's already there, and we've active accounts, and that's kind of what we do. Every time we add a feature, our intention is not to nickel and dime you for an extra $5, extra $10. It's like, here's a great feature, use this. Our passion really small business says that, but I like to help small business owners. I choose walk that walk. And I want to help,
Right, and at the end of the day, and I can't stress enough that this is the perfect kind of tool that will enable you as an accounting or bookkeeping professional to actually show your client very directly how the money they give you to pay you to do what you do will come right back to them, at least ×2. And ×2 would probably be enough for most people to be happy. Imagine if you can do it ×10, right? So if somebody pays me $2,500 and I find them $10,000, I'm pretty sure they're not going to be mad at me, right? Anybody ever get mad at you, Mike, for giving them $10,000 back in exchange for $2,500?
Not one time, and I ask them all the time. I said, if you could give me $10,000 a day, guaranteed $100,000 at the end of the year, would you do it? Everybody makes that bet.
Yeah, they'd be like, all right, let me go borrow $10,000 from my cousin or my uncle or my aunt. Dennis, sorry, you had a question.
I have a question. When is this product going to be available?
The valuation product, you mean?
Yes, the valuation.
Right now we've got you saw that we're selecting the designer today, and we're hoping by mid-September to have it in beta. So to you first, or if you want to be a beta tester and just kind of run with it and try it out, email me. I'm at mike@finagraph.com, and I'll send you a link in advance, and you guys can help me beta test it. Just knowing when you get a beta, there might be some bugs, the flow might not be working right, those type of things. Great time to have input too, right? On the way it should work.
So it sounds like maybe late October, early November when it's ready for the public.
Or sooner, yeah.
Okay.
Or sooner. Yeah. But like I said, if you're interested in seeing the beta version and playing with it with your clients, just know it is in beta. But email me, and I'll make sure that you're on a list to get the link.
Okay, thanks.
Sarah, you've been quiet. Unmute. I want to hear what you're thinking.
It's because every time I talk, it echoes. Ooh.
Sorry. No, you sound good now.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah, that sounds good.
No, I'm looking forward to watching your video so I can get more information.
Okay.
It's exciting to see so many different options and features in software like this. That it isn't just a one. You know, we think of Finagraph as a tool for one thing, and then we get surprised with all these other tools. So, yeah, it's exciting to see the way the company's going. And
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a delay, by the way, folks, so just bear with. If you're saying something and Mike's still talking, it's because there's a delay. He's not being rude. He's actually a perfect gentleman. I just want to make sure that's clear.
Okay. My question is that I think all of us would agree this is a very necessary product, but the challenge I find, and especially with small businesses, is they don't know what they don't know, and trying to get them to understand the value of this. You know, I always make the analogy that a small business, like this is like a dashboard or gauge on a small airplane. There's two things that go wrong. One, the data's wrong, or two, they don't look at it, you know, in terms of trying to manage their business. And I think the challenge is getting people to see the value of this when they don't really understand accounting.
So I think I have an answer for you on that, Dennis, and I think it's important, and actually we covered this as part of the course we did on Finagraph, because there's a whole section we did, and I really got this directly from working with Mike when Mike was first showing me the product, and Mike talked about this in our last hangout that we did on Finagraph, and I kind of built this concept into the course, which is I don't think it's a good idea to go out there with a product like Finagraph and then just send it to the client and say, here, go look at it. I think that the much better way to make sure that the client understands and appreciates the value is to make an appointment with the client before they even see it and say, hey, there's something I want to go over some numbers with you. You can put it like that, right? And then invite them in, share your screen, log in remotely, and then bring up Finagraph. At first, they're going to either be wowed or they're going to be overwhelmed because there's so much information there, but then you walk them through it. You take them through and you say, here's your quick ratio, and this is what it means. And when we compare it to the industry, this is how you look. And we compare your quick ratio today to what it was last quarter, it's improving or it's getting worse. So you walk them through the process so that by the time you're done, not only are they going to see the value, at least in my experience, they're going to be so blown away. You know, I share the story frequently how I did something like this with a client who was haggling with me on the monthly fee I wanted to charge him, and by the time we were done, he no longer had any question about the fees I wanted to charge. He said, we're good. So, Mike, let me give you the floor on that now.
You know, it starts with the bookkeeper, accountant, professional, right? It starts there.
Right. I see my role.
Go ahead.
I see my role more as compiling good numbers so that Finagraph has value, because you know, as in my practice, we review clients' work, and especially with products like QuickBooks and things, you've got business owners and bookkeepers that are doing the best they can, but they don't know the whole accounting picture. So somebody like me will come in and make sure that the books are proper, so that when a tool like Finagraph is used, it means something. Because, like Dennis just said, if Finagraph has bad numbers, it's going to give bad advice. So now, in my practice, I started trying to think which of my clients could use a product like this. I've been in business a long time. My clients are pretty stable. It's not a startup. It's not looking to borrow money. But in this economy, I do have a couple clients who are starting to suffer, and they've been doing business for so long one way that the way that they're doing business no longer works. And I can say that, I can say that, but they can't picture it. And so I am interested in Finagraph in that I could give more of a visual and put more value on my services to show them exactly where their problem point, where their pain points are, and then work with their management to see what we can do to turn them around. So.
Yeah, and Sarah, you bring up, I think, a very important qualification there, which is that, yes, before we can start using Finagraph, we've got to make sure that the numbers that are going into Finagraph are reliable, right?
Right.
That goes without saying. At the same time, looking at the numbers in Finagraph might help clue you in if something looks off, too.
True.
Right? Because, so it kind of goes both ways, but I think at the start, for sure, before I put a client into Finagraph, the first thing I'm going to do is review the balance sheet line by line and review the P&L line by line and make sure that everything is complete. You look at all the management assertions that are used when you're doing an audit, and I apply that same thinking to what I do with my clients' files. What is it? Assertion, valuation, completeness, rights and obligations, all those things. I basically put the client through an internal audit process to make sure that I can rely on those numbers. Then I go to Finagraph and say, okay, now let's analyze. But of course, it goes without saying, it's got to be accurate. Otherwise, what I see in Finagraph is worthless to me. And that's no fault of Finagraph's. That's the fault of the numbers not being right.
Well, so many of our engagements, the business owners, they look at accounting as this necessary chore to get their tax return done. So many companies do the bare minimum during the year just to get that tax return done, where if they really want to take care of their business and manage their business, the accounting needs to be correct on a monthly basis. So it's the first chore for us is getting rid of that mindset that the accounting is really just for the tax return once a year.
And that's a chicken and egg kind of thing, because what's going to happen is the way you're going to convince the client is like Mike and I were talking about a few minutes ago. When you show them how they can find an extra 10 grand because of the analysis that they're doing, all of a sudden they're going to say, oh wait, there is more to this than just doing a tax return. Right.
So a tool like Finagraph can be a great tool to in our toolbox to not only take care of our clients but gain more work. So.
Okay, so you guys ready for the shameless plug here?
Go ahead.
Okay, so I already mentioned we got the course on Finagraph for free at School of Bookkeeping, available to the public. I don't like using the word for free because it sort of feels like it devalues it, but we make it available to the public because Finagraph has partnered with us to do so. The second thing is, if you are a registered scholar at schoolofbookkeeping.com, we get how much of a discount, Mike? Is it 50% off the product?
You guys get it half off. You guys get it at half. It's the best discount in the country.
So half price. And then Marietta's asking, I assume Marietta's referring to the Finagraph classes that you do through the banks in local areas. She's asking if there's any discount available on that, because she says it's $275 to register for those. I'm thinking no. I know that's not part of our deal with Finagraph because that's their thing. So, but I'd say $275 is probably a very fair deal to sit in 2 days worth of information about how to value my business. I mean,
and speaking of that,
and it's a working event, with an open bar. I mean, it's a whole day's worth of just really good digging into the company. I do have discount for that for City National Bank. Let me give you guys a discount as well for these events. I got to go to the managing director and make sure she approves it. But I know that we do have a discount code that we're using. I just want to extend it to you guys as well.
That'd be awesome.
So I have a question. I went onto your website and to the seminars, and there's actually one close to me, and I'm out in Wyoming, so I would have to drive up to Montana to hit up one of your seminars. So as a small business owner, why would I want to take that drive and spend the 2 days up there for this seminar? So sell me it for me to go.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, for the small cost of the car ride, come with tools that you can use that very minute. Meaning that I'm going to be able to teach you the very first day how to calculate a line of credit, how to find cash in your own operation, and just like Finagraph does, I'm going to tell you manually how to do that. You don't have to use Finagraph. I'm going to give you a Excel spreadsheet. I'm going to give you a textbook that's used in colleges all around the country. You're going to interact with me in the storytelling. I think Seth, you've heard me speak. The same signature style that I have in all these really is engaging. You don't just learn technical. You know the story behind it, so you know how to implement it in your company.
Okay, so it's a lot more of hands-on versus just the website itself.
Yeah, if you want to come and listen to somebody lecture, that's not me.
Gotcha.
So now, Mike, do you do all of these, or are there other people at Finagraph who do these courses too?
We instructors. I do probably use 60% of them.
Gotcha. Now, and then Gabriel, going back to I think what you're asking, and just taking this into the context of the firm of the future conversation, imagine this: that we are. We're the trusted advisor, right? We're the accountant or bookkeeper who's working with the client on compiling their financial information and making sure that it's accurate and reliable. But now imagine that because we get ourselves plugged in and partnered with a company like Finagraph, we have the educational resource as well as the actual tangible resources to not only analyze the information, but then help get the client everything they need. So we do this analysis and we say, hey, client, based on my projections, I think you're going to run short on cash flow in another 2 to 3 months based on your burn rate and current income levels. So I want to plan ahead, and let's line up some financing so that we can make sure your working capital needs are met so that we don't have to be stressed out about this, and so that if an opportunity does come along, let's say an opportunity to take advantage of some kind of bulk discount pricing on inventory, which we know we're going to blow through, we don't want cash flow restrictions to prevent us from taking advantage of that better pricing, which is going to increase our profits. And if that increase in profits outweighs the cost of borrowing the money, then it makes sense. But this is the kind of analysis that we want to be able to do for our clients that's going to turn our job for them and their perception of what we do from transactional into value.
And I'm all for that, Seth. And that's one of the selling points that I tell my prospective clients of, hey, it's not just a piece of paper that I'm handing you. It's the analytical aspect.
Oops, sorry, I think
it's about showing that profit.
Okay.
It's about showing that profit for your clients, as well as so you can get a loan if you need one, and not having to pay a whole bunch of taxes at the end of the year.
Oh, that's
right. And I'm a big fan of prove it. I love to just prove it. So rather than go to a client and tell them what I can or want to do for them, I like to go and just do it for them and then show them what I did, so the proof's already there, right? So I might even go as far as to spend the money out of my own pocket on a product like Finagraph so I can analysis on their numbers so that then I can go to them, and by the time I'm done, the worst case scenario is I spent $99, or in our case, because of School of Bookkeeping, $49, right? So worst case scenario, I spent an extra $50, learned a little bit more about a product that for whatever reason the client decided they didn't want. Best case, the client says, hey, that's tremendously valuable. How much is that going to cost me so I can have you do this work for me every month? So you hit them, you get them into Finagraph, and then you charge them for the service that you're going to provide in terms of analyzing and reviewing the information with them. So now you've just taken an existing client and increased your revenue base as the accounting or bookkeeping professional and provided hopefully twice that much in value to them. So, Mike, how much do I get paid for this, by the way? No, I'm just kidding. Oh, wait. I was just going to say, wait, don't answer that.
We got a renewal coming up. I know somebody's got a security question here. Larry does. Larry, great question. And I'm right in the heart of it here at CloudFest down in San Diego. Security is utmost important for everybody. And I can tell you the only people that can hit are the people that the business owner authorizes. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about our company and who works for us. We use Microsoft Azure, first of all, and it's audited by Deloitte several times a year. So, there's a lot of large companies that store their data on Microsoft Azure's cloud. But more importantly, our CEO, Jay Walter, left Microsoft with several patents in data security, both at rest and in transit. And what he's done is he takes every single company file and overlays it with a separate encryption key. That means even if there's a breach in the Microsoft Azure, you only see one company, and even then it's anonymized, which means all you're going to get is financial. We're not looking at anything, any account numbers, any employee names, any social numbers, only balance sheets and income statements, financial stuff for analysis. It's not anything as it is.
All right, I love that. I love that. All right, so we're pretty much out of time for the hour, but I'll give you guys a chance if you have any more questions. Marietta asked again about the discount. She wanted to just confirm it's 50% for scholars on the Finagraph application, not on the classes, but Mike said he's going to get us a discount code for the classes in case you want to attend. Mike's going to send it to me later, and then I'm going to charge you for it. I'm going to charge you for the discount code.
Hey, Seth,
arm wrestle Seth.
Wait, sorry, there were two at once.
I said I'll arm wrestle you for it.
Okay, perfect. You're going to have to drive a lot longer than to Montana to do that, though. Oh, and the seminars are eligible for CPE credits. That is good to know.
That's good to know.
Yeah, I meant to mention that, but if you're on a 2-day seminar, it's 16 hours, and 1 day is 8 hours.
Great to know. That's awesome. One of these days we'll get School of Bookkeeping to be sort of certified to offer CPE credits. It's something. It's on the back burner for me to. I know it's a lengthy process to be able to offer that, but I have my notes about where I have to go to do it and get it done.
Okay. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for showing us the new toys.
Mike, tell us again, how do people reach you if they have questions and follow-up and comments, or maybe some, well, you're married, so nobody can ask you out on a date. I want to clarify that.
That didn't stop some of them. No, I mean, easiest way to reach me, Seth, it's Mike@Ficom. I'm always up on email. My preferred method, easiest way to get a hold of me. If you'd like my cell phone number, I can give you that too. I mean, that doesn't bother me a bit. But email me and then I'll send it out.
Okay, perfect. Mike, thanks so much for taking the time to be with us. This is a great conversation. I think we need to do more like this. We need to have more hangouts where we talk about valuation and the firm of the future and the kind of stuff that we need to be learning how to do for our clients well above and beyond just entering or babysitting or massaging financial information.
That's right. Thank you.
Totally agree. I'm more than willing to help you out any way I can.
All right, we'll have you back next week. No, I'm just kidding. But we'll definitely have you back soon, Mike. This has been great. I really appreciate it.
What is the topic for next week?
Next week, we're going to be taking a look at Zoho Books. Mm-hmm. Zoho Books is next week, so that should be interesting.
Good.
I actually have the president of Zoho coming on with us.
Whoa.
Is this going to be pirate themed?
What?
Is it going to be pirate themed?
Piracy?
A pirate theme?
Pirate theme, yeah.
Why?
Zoho.
On that note, don't forget to join Gina's Hangout later today at 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. Usually with her, it's an open forum. You get what you get. So we'll see you there.
That's right.
All right.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.